The only 6 exercises you need for complete chest development. The chest is probably the muscle that men most want to hypertrophy, and it's not difficult to understand why. Along with the abdomen, it composes practically the entire front of the body, creating that athletic and strong appearance that many seek. Beyond the undeniable aesthetic appeal, let's agree that chest training is one of the most satisfying to perform. Unfortunately, many don't achieve good results in this muscle for one main reason: the lack of understanding about the basic anatomy of the chest. Many practitioners end up repeating the same exercises, working excessively on a specific portion while leaving other areas with development gaps. The result? An unbalanced chest that doesn't reach its full aesthetic and functional potential. That's why today, you will see the only 6 exercises you really need for complete development of this muscle. And don't worry, you don't need to do them all on the same day. The important thing is that all of them are performed at least once a week, distributed in an intelligent routine. Before we begin, tell us in the comments your name and the city from where you're watching our content. We'll love to know. Let's start by clarifying something fundamental. The chest is divided into 3 main regions: upper chest, middle chest, and lower chest. The fibers also don't all go in the same direction. Therefore, aiming for harmonious and complete development, we need to ensure that all 3 portions and fiber orientations are equally stimulated through specific exercises. For this, we will work with 2 exercises for each part. Let's start with the exercises for the upper chest. Exercise 1. Incline bench press. The incline bench press is, without a doubt, the most efficient exercise to develop the upper portion of the chest. This movement places the perfect angle to emphasize the clavicular part of the muscle, that region that gives that full chest appearance when you're wearing a t-shirt. The great benefit of the incline bench press is that it allows significant progressive overload, fundamental for muscle growth. When performed correctly, it not only develops the upper chest, but also engages the anterior deltoids and the triceps as secondary muscles, providing a more complete stimulus for the upper body. You have 3 main options to perform this exercise: with a barbell, dumbbells, or on a machine. With the barbell, you can use heavier weights, which is excellent for strength and hypertrophy gains. Dumbbells offer greater range of motion and work more on the stabilizers, as well as allowing each side to work independently, correcting possible imbalances. The machine provides more safety and is ideal for beginners. To perform it correctly, start by adjusting the bench at an angle between 30 and 45 degrees. We avoid greater inclinations as this would transfer the work excessively to the shoulders. Keep the shoulder blades retracted throughout the movement to protect your shoulders and maximize chest involvement. Besides trying to use excessive weights compromising technique, another frequent error is not lowering the weight enough, limiting the movement's amplitude. Keep in mind that for maximum results, the weight should lower until your arms are parallel to the floor, creating good tension in the chest. I recommend 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions, with rest of 1 to 3 minutes between sets. Exercise 2. Decline push-up. The decline push-up is a perfect complement to the incline bench press for upper chest development. The great benefit of the decline push-up is the change in working angle relative to the bench press. While the incline bench press pushes the weight up and away from the body, the decline push-up pushes the body up from a declined position, which creates a different stimulus in the muscle fibers of the upper chest. This variation in movement pattern is crucial for complete development, as it recruits different types of muscle fibers. To perform correctly, position your feet on an elevated surface, such as a bench or box, and your hands on the floor with a distance slightly wider than shoulder width. Your body should form a straight, inclined line, with feet higher than your head. Keep the core engaged and lower in a controlled manner until your chest almost touches the floor, then push back to the starting position. Despite using only body weight, don't be fooled. This exercise is extremely effective and can be adjusted for different conditioning levels. To make it easier, use a lower elevation for your feet or support your knees on the floor. To increase difficulty, elevate your feet more, use a weighted vest, or place a weight plate on your back. You can also vary the execution speed, using slower times in the eccentric phase to increase muscle tension. The most common errors include letting the hips drop, creating a curve in the lower back, or raising the shoulders toward the ears, which reduces chest involvement and overloads the trapezius. Always maintain spine neutrality and shoulders away from the ears throughout the movement. To maximize results, perform 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. If you can do more than 15 repetitions easily, it's time to increase the difficulty using one of the mentioned variations. Since this is an exercise that complements the incline bench press, it's interesting to perform it right after the first exercise, when the upper chest fibers are already pre-fatigued, which intensifies the stimulus. Now let's focus on the middle chest, that central region that gives volume and definition to the muscle. Exercise 1. Fly. The fly is a classic and essential movement for middle chest development. Unlike bench press exercises, which are compound movements, the fly is an isolation exercise that allows greater focus exclusively on the chest. The great benefit of the fly is in the excellent extension it provides to the muscle. While bench presses work mainly in the contraction phase, the fly creates significant tension in the stretching phase, when the arms are open. This stimulus in the stretched position is fundamental to stimulate muscle growth, as this is when greater microtrauma occurs in the muscle fibers, a necessary process for hypertrophy. To perform it correctly, lie on a flat bench with a dumbbell in each hand. Start with arms extended above the chest, with a slight bend in the elbows that should be maintained throughout the movement. Open the arms in an arc movement, as if you were hugging a large tree, until you feel a good stretch in the chest. Then, contract the chest to bring the dumbbells back to the starting position, maintaining tension in the muscle throughout the path. It's crucial to maintain rigorous control during execution. The movement should be performed at a moderate speed, especially in the eccentric phase, to maximize tension in the chest. Avoid using momentum or swinging the weights, as this reduces the effectiveness of the exercise and increases the risk of injuries. Besides dumbbells that provide greater freedom of movement and greater activation of stabilizers, you can also perform the fly on specific machines or even with cables and pulleys. The machine offers more safety and control for beginners, and the cables maintain constant tension throughout the movement's amplitude, which is excellent for pump and muscle definition. A common error is using excessive weight, which forces the practitioner to reduce the movement's amplitude or to recruit other muscles to compensate. Another frequent error is leaving the elbows fully extended, which transfers the tension to the joints instead of keeping it in the muscles. For optimal results, I recommend 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions, with a focus on execution quality. The fly works best when performed after a compound exercise like the bench press, taking advantage of the pre-fatigue of the muscle to intensify isolation. Exercise 2. Flat bench press. The flat bench press is considered by many the king of chest exercises, and not by chance. This classic movement is extremely effective for developing the middle region of the chest. The great advantage of the flat bench press is the possibility of using substantial loads, which creates a powerful mechanical stimulus for muscle growth. It also allows consistent progression over time, fundamental to continue evolving. To perform it with the correct technique, lie on a flat bench with your feet firmly supported on the floor. Retract the shoulder blades to create a stable base and protect your shoulders. Hold the bar with a grip slightly wider than shoulder width. Lower the bar in a controlled manner until it lightly touches the chest at nipple height, and then push back to the starting position, focusing on chest contraction. Just like in the incline bench press, you have 3 main options: barbell, dumbbells, or machine. You already know the advantages of each. A common error I frequently see is excessively arching the back to reduce the movement's amplitude and manage to lift more weight. This not only compromises the results, but increases the risk of injuries to the lumbar spine. Another error is not lowering the weight completely or bouncing the bar on the chest. Both reduce the effectiveness of the exercise. The correct technique involves a light touch on the chest and a controlled movement throughout the amplitude. The hand position is also crucial. A grip that's too close transfers the work to the triceps, while an excessively wide grip increases tension on the shoulders and can lead to injuries. Find the middle ground that allows you to feel the work mainly in the chest. To maximize gains, I recommend 3 sets of 6 to 10 repetitions for strength development, or 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions for hypertrophy. Rest between sets should be 1.5 to 3 minutes to allow adequate recovery. Now let's move to the lower chest. But first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Having constant access to correct and science-based information is what will make you progress in the long term in the bodybuilding world. Exercise 1. High pulley crossover. The high pulley crossover is an exceptional exercise to develop the lower chest, that region that gives the perfect finish to the muscle, creating the harmonious transition between the chest and the abdomen. This movement uses cables and pulleys, which provides constant tension throughout the movement's amplitude, a benefit that free weights cannot offer in the same way. The great advantage of the crossover is the unique working angle. While most chest exercises involve pushing the weight away from the body, the crossover creates a horizontal adduction movement with a descending trajectory, perfectly isolating the lower portion of the chest. This specific stimulus is essential for complete three-dimensional development of the muscle. To perform it correctly, position yourself between two high pulleys, with one foot in front of the other for better balance. Hold a handle in each hand with the elbows slightly flexed. From this position, pull the handles down and forward in an arched movement, as if you were hugging a large ball. The end point of the movement should be with hands meeting in front of the body, at waist height or slightly below, with maximum contraction of the lower chest. Control is absolutely crucial in this exercise. Avoid using momentum or the force of shoulders and arms to move the weight. The movement should be initiated and driven by the chest, with the arms functioning only as levers. The eccentric phase should be equally controlled, allowing a gradual stretching of the muscle. A common error is leaning excessively forward during the movement, which transfers the work to the anterior deltoids. Another frequent error is not completing the full amplitude of the movement, both in the contraction phase and in the stretching phase. To maximize the benefits, make sure to allow a good stretch in the starting position and a complete contraction when the hands meet. For optimal results, I recommend 3 to 4 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions. The crossover works better with slightly higher repetitions. Exercise 2. Pullover. The pullover is a unique and extremely effective exercise that completes our arsenal for lower chest development. Unlike most chest exercises, which involve pushing movements, the pullover uses a pulling movement that creates an exceptional stretch in the ribcage and chest complex. The great benefit of the pullover is in the extraordinary range of motion it provides. This exercise not only works the lower chest intensely, but also engages the serratus anterior, the muscle that gives that serrated appearance on the side of the thorax, and the back muscles, especially the latissimus dorsi. This characteristic makes the pullover a perfect bridge between chest and back workouts. To perform it correctly, lie perpendicularly on a flat bench, with only the upper part of the back supported and the hips below the level of the bench. Hold a dumbbell with both hands on the top of the disc, forming a diamond with your hands. Start with arms extended above the chest, with a slight bend in the elbows that should be maintained throughout the movement. From this position, lower the weight in an arc behind the head until you feel a strong stretch in the chest and rib cage. It's important to lower only to where it's comfortable. Don't force beyond your flexibility limit. Then, use the strength of the chest to pull the weight back to the starting position, keeping the elbows slightly bent throughout the path. A frequent error is allowing the elbows to open during the exercise, which decreases the chest work and increases the load on the shoulders. Always keep the elbows pointing up and relatively close to each other. Breathing is particularly important in the pullover. Inhale deeply when the weight goes down behind the head, taking advantage of the stretch to maximally expand the rib cage. Exhale in a controlled manner when returning to the starting position. This breathing synchronization enhances the exercise's benefits for thoracic expansion. For optimal results, I recommend 3 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions, with a focus on maximum amplitude and the sensation of stretching followed by contraction. The pullover works best when performed at the end of the chest workout, when the muscles are already pre-fatigued and more receptive to this unique stimulus. Now that we know the 6 essential exercises for complete chest development, let's organize an intelligent routine to implement them. Remember, you don't need and shouldn't do all these exercises on the same day. The proper distribution is fundamental to allow appropriate recovery and maximize results. An efficient approach is to divide chest training into 2 weekly sessions, working different portions each day with at least 72 hours interval between them. This provides enough time for recovery and supercompensation, the process by which the muscle adapts and grows after the training stimulus. Here's a suggestion for organization. Day 1, for example, Wednesday, Upper chest, middle chest, and triceps. Incline. Bench press, 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions. Decline. Push-up, 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. Fly, 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. Flat bench press, 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions. Exercises for triceps, 2 exercises, 4 sets each. Day 2, for example, Saturday, lower chest and complements. High pulley crossover, 3 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions. Pullover, 3 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions. Complementary exercises of your choice that may include more exercises for triceps or exercises for other muscle groups. This structure allows intense and focused work on each portion of the chest without overloading the muscle in a single session. The combination with triceps is ideal, as this muscle is already activated as secondary in most chest exercises. As for progression, it's fundamental to gradually increase the load or difficulty of the exercises over time. This principle, known as progressive overload, is the main driver of muscle growth. Every 2 or 3 weeks, try to increase the weight or the number of repetitions, always maintaining correct technique. Another important aspect is periodic variation. Even within this selection of 6 essential exercises, you can make small, regular changes. Change the order of exercises, adjust the number of sets and repetitions, vary the time under tension, or alternate between barbells, dumbbells, and machines. These changes keep the stimulus fresh for the muscle and prevent plateaus. Now that you have the right exercises for chest, you need to ensure that you're not making the most common mistakes that many men make in chest training, and that prevent them from having this muscle well developed. If you want to know what they are, we've left a video appearing right now on the screen showing and explaining each of them. Thank you for watching this far, and may God bless you, my friend.